Okay, so this is Starbow. I'm sure a lot of people are wondering what Starbow is exactly, and I've been looking at like YouTube and trying to find a video or even a link, like a wiki or something that could tell me what these units actually do now. Like what are the new changes? What are the differences between Starbow and Starcraft II and Brood War and all of that goodness? Um, For those of you that don't know what Starbow is, Starbow is a sort of a mashup, a mod that was created to serve as sort of a blend of Starcraft II and Brood War. It takes certain things from Brood War. Might be wondering, like, why aren't these two medics standing right next to each other? Do they not like each other? What's going on? These Marines don't like each other. What's going on? Hey, come back here. You don't want to be next to me? It's because in Brood War, your units would be spread out a lot more, unlike in StarCraft 2, where everything is just packed together, and so like a storm would decimate your army. In this game, the mechanics are a little different in terms of the game design. I don't even know if that makes sense, but these units will not be so close together. As you can see, I just moved my army here, and they've all sort of spread apart. There's space in between all of them. So I just wanted to make this video, and a Protoss and a Zerg video coming up as well, to talk about what the new units are, what different abilities, like what is that? What is this? This is not the Ghost that we're used to. Because there are a lot of differences, and for those of you going and checking out Starbow, it might be good to, know what each unit does before you even begin, and know what the changes are. So, let us begin with the barracks. We still got the tech labs, we still got the reactors. The reactors can build Marines, Marauders, and Firebats now, whereas the tech lab opens up the tree to Reapers, Medics, and Ghosts. So we got the Medic back. So let's look at these units. We've got the Marine, pretty standard, and I'm going to pair this up with the Marauders as well. The Marauders do explosive damage, so, you can read that right there. It does less damage to less armored units, I suppose you could say. And now we've got medium units that we need to look out for. The Marauder does... I got an upgrade, so it does 16 to everything, and then you add this onto it, the explosive damage onto it. Both the Marines and the Marauders only have a range of 4, so the Marauders are kind of like a giant armor-killing Marine, basically, which I guess that's what they were in StarCraft 2. But you now have to upgrade. You now have to upgrade the range of the Marines and the Marauders, and you bring them both to a range of 5. So definitely lower than they were before. And now the Marines, you have to get an upgrade before you can do that. Stim Pack is still an upgrade, 100, 100. As you can see, the times for the upgrades have been adjusted to match the balance of this particular game. But yeah, in terms of these two units, they're pretty standard. Reapers still heal rapidly, so they're still probably going to be used as scouting units. They also have concussive damage, so concussive damage apparently is better against light and worse against armored. And they also have an upgrade that involves Elite Reaper training. This allows them to use the G4 cluster bomb ability, which is the ability that lets them blow up buildings really fast. I'll just show you right here. Actually, I don't even have the upgrade, so we'll get that upgrade, and then we'll see what it looks like after. These two, I'm pretty sure you know what they look like. We'll get the Matrix for the Medic, as I'm about to talk about them next. The Medic is a healing unit, so if I attack this Marine... There you go. As you can see, you need very close distance for this medic to actually heal that Marine. In fact, the Marine doesn't even want to be next to the medic. He's like, I don't want any of that. So we're gonna get the Matrix, and apparently they can use Stim Pack, and this allows. I'm wondering. Actually, we'll get that after and see what happens later on. I wonder if this lets them heal faster? That would be really interesting, but this kind of baffles me why the Medic has Stim Pack. The creators of this game might want to look into that. We have Firebats. They also have concussive damage. Fire, probably not that good against armor, but really good against light units that don't have armor, like Zerglings, for instance. They also have Stim Pack. Very simple. They actually take 20 damage. And I believe Yeah, these guys take 20 damage, and the Marines take 10. Lastly, we have the Ghosts. You build the Ghost from the Academy. The Ghost Academy, there is no science facility or whatever. They didn't add that in. They decided to keep the Ghost Academy. And here, the nuclear missiles are still here. So I think now that we don't have to put an add-on to a command center, compared to Brood War, I think Ghosts and nukes are going to be a lot more prevalent here. Because you can just build, like, 5 Ghost Academies. You got 5 nukes, whereas in Brood War, you had to build 5 command centers and attach a nuclear silo to them. So that's definitely, I think, going to be really cool that Terran players will be able to play with. Ghosts no longer have EMP, so there's no longer Ghost against Protoss kind of armies. You will have Cloak, however. You do have Hold Fire, which is going to be really cool. We've lost Lockdown, although, is this Lockdown? I don't think this is Lockdown. Let's see what it does. So, what does it actually do? Let's read this out. The Ghost releases a bolt of psionic energy at a target area. Affected units are slowed down and cannot attack or use spells for 5 seconds. So this really is a crippling attack. They can move, they'll just be slowed down, and they can attack. So that's going to be actually pretty cool to be able to shoot these. It's kind of like an AoE, really short lockdown, I suppose you could say. Still really cool. I'm excited to see how this is going to be used. It does have a projectile, so you will have to time that out a bit. So there is dodge potential there. That pretty much shows us... Oh, let's see what Matrix does. So it creates this bubble, and it has 150... So as you can see, it's got shields on top like a Protoss unit, right? Okay, so we know what that does. We're going to get Stim next, and then we'll just get all the upgrades, and then we'll see what happens after that. Let's go to the factory. The factory has 3 units only. The Thor does not exist anymore. That giant hunk of metal is gone. We are left with the standard Brood War units, but they've got a few tweaks to them. As you can see, the units are still... They don't want to be next to each other. They don't want to touch each other at all. So let's start with the Vultures. The Vultures, a very simple unit. Look, this is actually considered one of the fastest units in this game. You can see how slow this game is actually going to be, and that's a good thing because that's going to allow us. That's going to allow players to go back, micro, and come back, and the battle's not over already. They can still actually micro their units and macro at the same time. So that's really cool. So I'm looking at the Reapers. They're pretty fast, but this is actually. These are probably one of the faster units in the game, the Vulture. They now have six spider mines each, which is a huge upgrade from Brood War, where they only held 3. So you just put these things down, and you know when actually I'm retarded. They have 3 each. I was clicking 2 of them, so it added them together. That's actually pretty cool that they do that. So you'll be able to see how many spider mines you have in total. So we had 6 in total for 2 Vultures. So you put these down. A lot of times the strategy is to put them all in your base so that when people do drops, they drop down and a spider mine pops up and just kills them immediately. Really good base defense units for these, as well as harassment. You just run a bunch of Vultures in, throw down the spider mines, and if you can't get their workers out, the spider mines are just going to do a lot of damage. Do you have anything for the tech lab? Anything for the Vultures? We have even faster Vultures, so we'll go ahead and get that. We'll go ahead to the Goliath. The Goliath, another unit that is the favorite in Brood War. Explosive damage, a lot better against armored units than light units. How much damage do these bad boys do? They do 12 to the ground and 10 to air. And also for their air, we can increase their range by 3. Right now they have an air range of 5, so we can get that to 8. That's pretty damn good, especially for an anti-air unit. It's really going to be good. We have the siege tanks, standard siege tanks. They are also going to be a lot better against armored units than light units. So we got the explosive damage and the siege mode, which we will have coming right up after the fast Vultures, and we'll check those out later on as well. Onto the Starport. You see I got a battlecruiser here already. A lot of cool things for the Starport actually coming in. They used the mercenary Vikings, which I think look absolutely awesome. Look at those. Those look way better than normal Vikings. So seeing the Vikings in action, oh my goodness, they have homing missiles, but they're slow as hell, and they have 6 range, guys, so you want to watch out for that. Let's see what happens when they transform down. What does it look like? Pretty much like a Goliath attack, right? Let's check out the Goliath attack. Goliath attacks sound way better than their attacks, so I would suggest just getting Goliaths because they sound way cooler. Science vessels, I'm pretty sure a lot of people were hoping the science vessels could heal mech, but they don't. In the campaign they do. But science vessels have 3 abilities. Nerve Jammer is actually really, really cool. Look at that range. You put this thing down, and if any enemies come down within this field, after about, I think it's like 1 or 2 seconds, it'll do this. Anything within that area target, what happens? Ground units. It reduces all damage dealt by ground units in an area by 75%. Burrowed units damage is only reduced by 25%, and it lasts for 15 seconds. So basically it's talking about lurkers for the burrowed units, and the ground units, man, reduced by 75%. That's a huge amount. Does this thing have health? Yes, it does, so you can always shoot it down. You know, take a few Marines. You don't need a lot of them. Whittle this down. It's only got 60 health, so it should be okay. Hell, if you got Vikings, you can just... I don't know if that actually hit, but it's all good. We have Irradiate, another favorite among Brood War. This is typically to fight Bio and Zerg. Nearby Bio units will take damage from an irradiated mechanical unit. So mechanical units, Irradiate doesn't do anything on. We're gonna sort of see this in action. You can see that on a siege tank it doesn't really do anything, but if it's next to, they start taking damage, right? However, if we irradiate a bio unit, it will just take damage over time and do damage to everything else around it as well. So as you know, Zerg units are all biological, so that's like a Zerg killer in a way. And then we have EMP. I'm pretty sure I don't really need to show what EMP looks like. Yeah, it looks the same as before. It will take out shields, it will take out energy, that's what it is. It will destroy Protoss units really fast. And Banshees are exactly like they were before. They have a range of 4, however, so not that... You gotta get close up with these things. They can still do a lot of damage though, because they're very fast shooters. We have the dropships, no longer medevacs because we have medics. We don't need medevacs anymore. We still got the afterburners, right? Very fast. Can speed them around. Look at these guys just playing grab ass, right? However, we have a new upgrade. Actually, here you can. Well, we'll get to the upgrades. The upgrades for the dropship involve the dropships being able to pick up siege tanks, like not just siege tanks, but sieged tanks. We'll just get that, and we'll try that out in a bit. Actually, yeah. So I mean, that's gonna be pretty cool for you to actually be able to pick up sieged tanks. Saves you a ton of time because you don't have to unsiege, drop them off somewhere, and siege again, right? It's gonna be really useful. Battle cruisers, Yamato gun. I don't think I need to show you what Yamato gun does. It just shoots a giant blast at something, dealing 300 damage. But this is the cool thing right here. I saw this and I was like, look at this. Oh my goodness! For those of you who played the Terran mission in the Zerg in the Heart of the Swarm campaign, you recognize that. It apparently has a 5-second cooldown, but it uses up 75 energy of your 200 energy. And if you think about it, this might become a combo right here. Warp drive. You know, warp drive over here, and Yamato cannon might be pretty cool. Actually, this is like Blink. Blinking battle cruisers. Oh my goodness. Be cool if you were attacking, you blink back, Yamato gunned, and then came back into the fight. That would be pretty cool. That's sort of what I envision when I hear about that. Let's go to the upgrades for the Starport. We already have this, which we're going to try out right now, because I'm just really curious as to see how this works.
Ready for pickup?
Oh my goodness. If I drop it off, is it still sieged? That's so cool if it is. Oh, it's not sieged.
Picking up.
Unfortunately, they're not letting you siege back down, which would have been pretty cool, but maybe a little unbalanced. Who knows? Oh, the Vikings also deal splash damage to enemy units, so that's going to be good. So if you, these are single fire anti-air. This is your splash anti-air. Really cool. We have increases the movement speed of fighter Vikings. So the fighter mode, is that fighter mode? Oh no, fighter mode is this mode. So if we end up getting that, we'll this will be faster, which they're already not that slow. Like this is pretty fast. So that's pretty interesting. You can increase the range of Banshees by 2. That's going to be good for harassment and stuff. Only 100, that's not bad. We have increased regeneration. I think this is what they're replacing the add 25 energy to your unit to. Man, I've already been talking for like an hour. This video is going to be huge. But yeah, that's pretty much the units. That's pretty much the upgrades. Now let's get to the buildings. We've got your engineering bay, you've got your upgrades, good stuff. You have giving your structures +2 armor, really good. We've got increasing the bunkers health, right? We had that before. This is the cool one, and it means it gives you basically free ComSat station, free scans. Okay, however, each orbital command will only have 2 scans. So it's up to you how you want to do this. Because you can get this, or you don't have to. Because the orbital command also has some really neat tools, and that's pretty much going to be the armory's got all the upgrades. They didn't combine mech upgrades. Good stuff. Not yet. So this is going to work in conjunction with what I'm about to talk about, is the scanner sweep. The scanner sweep costs 35 energy. And this allows you to have 2 charges that will be stored over time. Yeah, so you can either use 35 energy, and that actually only lets you scan twice anyways, or you can save that. So probably you're going to get this, most likely. Because you're going to want to give energy for this, call down SCV. Replacing the mule, we now have, you just get an SCV. You just get an SCV whenever you want it. So it costs 50 gold, I'm still in Warcraft, 50 minerals to do, and it costs 25 energy. But you get a free SCV, so while you're making SCVs, you're going to bring these down, you're going to be able to increase your worker count a lot. This also means that Terrans do not get free supply from mules, and they just get money for free supply. You have to use a supply to use these SCVs, so you want to be careful with those supply depots. You want to get those supply depots before you need them, because you don't want to be supply blocked. We have lost supply drop, so no more, oh, I'm supply blocked? Well, I wasn't macroing very well. I just have tons of energy. I'll just bring down a supply drop. We don't have that anymore. What we do have is basically the Terran equivalent of Chrono Boost. But it only works on production buildings, like the Starport, the factory, and the barracks. So what we can read here is that it works on it for 20 seconds, and on a factory Starport it'll produce units 50% faster, while a barracks will produce units 100% faster. So wow, that's pretty crazy. You'll be able to train a Marine in 11 seconds. You'll be able to train 2 Marines in 11 seconds with this thing activated. Let's see what that even looks like. So it brings down this thing. Boom. Look how fast this is going. In 11 seconds, you have 2 Marines out, and you have some to spare, so you can get even more Marines. On a factory unit, pretty much, or on a Starport unit, it's going to go up 50%, so it's a little slower. But still really good, and it only costs 15 energy. That's almost disgustingly good. Really cool tools that we have here. As you can see, you can build 2 Marauders at a time now. Marauders do not require tech labs anymore. Yeah, it's just really cool. We've got nuke. I think this bar is to show that you've got a nuke, I suppose. The overcharge, however, only works on these. It doesn't work on your upgrades. Like unlike Chrono Boost, which can upgrade, you can Chrono Boost like your upgrades and stuff. This overcharge does not. So you'll be primarily using it on your Barracks, Factory, and Starport. I just want to see if this actually means... if this bar actually just means you have a nuke. We're going to see what happens when you stim pack a...
You sure about
Yeah.
Please state the nature of your medical emergency.
Nuclear missile ready.
Yeah, it looks... oh, interesting. This actually,
Is it critical?
apparently, it injures the energy. Yeah, okay, so you can see there that the icon is an energy next to the 10.
this better
Here it's a
be
heart,
good.
it's a life.
Where does it
That's
hurt?
really cool. So you can actually heal a unit a lot stronger. They haven't actually changed the description there, but you can heal a target faster when you stim pack. So I'm assuming that if you have all these guys in total, you stim pack and they're healing like crazy. That's a crazy awesome feature. I hope Terrans have a blast with this, and yes, it means there's a nuke there. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Terran. That's a lot of cool upgrades, a lot of cool units. I'm excited, and I hope you guys are for Starbow.
I'll read you, sir.
And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you guys on the Starcraft II Arcade for playing Starbow. Later. Peace out.